Hello everyone, I am Sakshi Sundarani, Faculty for Ethics at Vajiram and Ravi. Joining me today is Vishwajeet Gupta, who's gotten All India rank 67 at this year's UPSC results. So firstly, congratulations for this big feat, Vishwajeet.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
How does it feel? What was the moment like when you finally lived the dream that every aspirant sort of dreams of, seeing your name in the holy PDF?
Like others said, it was a feeling of relief, first of all, that I don't have to appear again. Secondly, it was the happiness of my parents, which actually provided me the satisfaction that I have done something in my life, something worth they should be proud of. So yeah, that was the feeling.
Okay. So before even jumping into the UPSC preparation, what was that final nudge and what was your background that sort of motivated you to start with UPSC preparation in the first place?
Yes, ma'am. I remember it was the June 2019, wherein I was at a crossroads, whether I have to pursue higher studies or pursue this examination. And therein my parents, my professors and my seniors in the college, they nudged me in this direction. They saw they suggested me that I have the requisite qualities, so I should pursue this examination, at least give some attempts wholeheartedly, then we'll see what happens. So that finally happened, and the the preparation began in July 2021. So from there on, I have given subsequent consecutive attempts.
Right. And again, at the attempts itself, you've had a long and arduous journey yourself. You had 4 attempts at UPSC. Take us through attempt-wise, what were the highs and lows that you had to see until this final rank came?
Yes, ma'am. So I gave my first attempt in 2022 and consecutive attempts since then. The first attempt, I couldn't clear prelims. I missed by a margin of around 2 marks. Second attempt, I reached till the interview stage, but I couldn't find my name in the final list. Third attempt, again, I couldn't clear prelims, ma'am. And fourth attempt was 2025, and fortunately, I've got a good rank this year.
Okay, so a prelims failure in the very first attempt to getting an interview call in the second attempt. You had an entire year to yourself that you actually utilized pretty well, not only to ensure what is to be done for prelims per se, but also to ensure that you do not get stuck in the main stage at all. What did you do to ensure that?
Yes, ma'am. So right from the beginning, I had a realization that my prelims is not very strong. So I promised myself that whenever I'll get a chance to write mains, I won't stop at mains. I'll definitely get an interview call. So I made my attempts in that direction. Some changes I made was since I have analyzed the prelims again, so I focused more on PYQs rather than giving random tests. That helped a lot, ma'am. Apart from that, working on mains. So apart from the basic notes, the foundation notes, I tried to enrich them more, adding some personal content, unique content to it. Working on low-hanging fruits such as essay, ethics. I worked on those subjects. I worked on my optional, and that helped me clear the mains also, ma'am, in the second attempt.
Right. Let us go in depth on prelims a little bit more. So there are a lot of problems that come when one person fails prelims in the very first attempt. First is the mindset shifts. There is more fear than actual result of failure.
True.
That too, and as well as, when you sit to give tests again and you get low scores again, how did you deal with that, and what was your step-by-step strategy? Since prelims is around the corner, what would you want to suggest to the students as well to ensure a name in the list?
Okay, ma'am, I'll treat this question in 2 parts. So first of all, regarding prelims, the preparation, after giving my first prelims, ma'am, I realized some lacunas in my the attempt process, which I used to do in the examination. So even in the actual examination, I attempted less questions than I used to attempt or what I had thought. I made sure an entire year-long preparation strategy. So I made a complete list that I'll be doing this in this month, this in this month, and subsequently in that way. Apart from that, I also clarified what I have to study. So right. I made a boundary that I won't go beyond this, whether I'll clear or not. So that boundary was a simple 4-step process that you have to read the NCERTs. You have to go through the standard books, reference books, 1 for each subject. That's it. You have to do the PYQs, and then you have to solve the test series along with enriching the current affairs. So this was the 4-step process. I promised myself that I'll stick to this, I won't change it. And subsequently, I increased the number of questions I attempted. I decreased the time that I was taking in the attempt process,
Right.
ma'am. So eventually, I was able to reduce it down to 1.5 hours only.
Right.
That way, I could focus more on accuracy rather than speed in the actual examination.
Right.
Also, ma'am, CSAT was a big changer, very bouncer that year, I'll say. 2023 CSAT was very unpredictable. But having that confidence of GS actually helped me in the CSAT, ma'am. So I was able to do the English part well, the comprehension part. I was able to figure out the reasoning questions that I have to attempt. And finally, in the last around 30 minutes, I gave my attempts in maths. So I attempted a few questions, but I was very sure that I'll get these right. That way, the confidence of GS helped me in clearing CSAT that year.
Okay. And what was the number of tests that you decided for yourself that, okay, this is the basic number of tests that I have to give before I sit for the final prelims test?
Ma'am, I have a slightly different approach for this. I don't go after number of tests. It's more about the quality of test.
Right.
Because after a while, when you don't get good marks in the mocks, it is disheartening.
Definitely.
So I decided that I'll go for quality over quantity. So I had a checklist for me that I'll solve these tests, then these tests, then these tests, and I'll focus more on PYQs, analyzing them, going after the wrong options as well, all those things that everyone knows. So yeah, I focused more on PYQs. I went till 2013 in that attempt. It was 2023, so yeah, I went back 10 years. One thing I did was I solved them backwards, but I analyzed them forwards. So that helped me. That while attempting the PYQs, I'll solve 24 paper, 23 paper, 22, 21, and while analyzing them,
Right.
reading the solutions and the right answers, I used to do them forward, 17, 18, 19, and henceforth.
Okay.
So it helped me realize that there's a pattern. It is there. And sometimes a single topic revolves for around 3-4 years. So one thing wrong option in the 17 attempt might come as a right option in 18 attempt, or that option might come in the 19th attempt. So 19th paper. So I think these were the small things that helped me. And fortunately, I was able to clear. Ma'am, I still am not confident in prelims, so I'm not the right person to guide that.
No, but this is actually a very good hack that you shared with us, that you solve them forwards, but you analyze them backwards. Is it right?
No, solve them backwards, but analyze them forwards.
Yes, solve them backwards, but analyze them so that you know that there's a upgrading pattern
Yes.
to the questions or to the kind of questions that you're solving.
Yeah, and the approach is to, while solving them backward, is that you don't make it easy for you, because once you start solving them forwards, you know that you have seen this question, you have seen this question, so it becomes sort of easy. But you have to give yourself some toughness now, so you solve it backwards.
Right. So coming to the mains aspect now. Now, in 2023, while you got a final interview call, you did not make it to the list, and so again, you did not get enough time to prepare for your prelims, and so you could not clear prelims that year.
Yes.
Now, how did you utilize that entire year so that you not only ensure that you get an interview call this time, but land at an All India rank 67 with a final, like with a mains total of 823? So what was the background work that went into it? Say, for example, if somebody who did not make it to the list this year, how would you want them to objectively analyze their preparation to ensure that they can see through what are the gaps that they have to work on?
Right. So the 2024 prelims, which I couldn't clear, there were some personal reasons behind that as well. So I had some problems in my family, and the result was disheartening as well. So it actually killed my confidence when I sat for the exam. It actually killed my confidence, and somehow I was able to score a decent mark. It was not very bad, but not enough to clear it. And people started saying that, okay, 24 was the easy paper compared to 23. How could you not clear it? Maybe 23 was a fluke. So I thought, okay, let's just drop this. I'll go back to my 23 attempt.
Right.
I'll do what I did then, and I'll decided the time frame in which I'll do that. Apart from that, I focused more on my mains. So having given mains once, I realized that these were the areas where I need to improve. So I had some strong GS papers, some weak GS papers, and the optional went down that year also.
Right.
So all these things factored in. So then I decided, okay, so I'll focus more on these GS. I'll focus less on these GS. Essay was my strong, so I thought that I'll improve on it.
Right.
So maintaining the score was a bare minimum.
Right.
That helped. Apart from that, ma'am, the enrichment of content happened during that year, 2024. So while I was not attempting the mains, I studied as if I am writing the mains. So I did not stop or took a break after my prelims. I continued my preparation, and I took my break after the actual mains was over. So that helped me keep in that momentum and that rhythm maintained. That helped me in 2025 attempt, because this time around we have one less month.
Definitely.
So it was very crunched. Less time available, you have to read more, analyze more, write more tests, etc. So the 2024 preparation helped me. Again, I planned my whole year ahead, that this month I'll do this.
Could you share, like, say for example, if somebody is preparing right now, what would be that month-wise strategy that you could suggest to ensure that they score good in mains next year?
Okay, ma'am. So this is sort of a personal thing. It might not work for everyone, but I believe in working backwards.
Right.
Okay, so you don't work forward. For example, essay and ethics, I had a very good score. A decent score. I shouldn't say like that. A decent score, ma'am. GS3, I did pretty well compared to how it is being marked. GS2 was my weak. GS1 was decent. So I started focusing on essay and ethics in the months right after the prelims.
Right.
So you work on your essays, because once you gather the anecdotes, you don't forget them.
Right.
So work on your ethics, work on your essay. There is less current events, more static thing and personal thing. You work on that. Coming in August, September, you start preparing for these current things.
Right.
So start with GS1 because it has more static. Go to GS2 because it has a 50-50 mix, and then move on to GS3 because it has the highest amount of current
largely
materials.
current oriented. Right.
So you work on that. Apart from that, once you are done with, since I was not giving mains that year, so I kept my optional aside. After September, I took a break of 10-15 days, and then in October, November, December, I worked on my optional. So PSIR is my optional, ma'am. So I worked on paper 1 as well as paper 2, because paper 2 mainly gets neglected because you have to study it at the end.
Right.
So I again started backwards. I'll do paper 2 first and then paper 1. Even in paper 2, I picked up the section B first.
Right.
So I made notes on that, because the static material is not very relevant in that paper, ma'am, the material available. So I made my own notes. I gathered information from different sources, materials, etc. So if anyone is preparing for PSIR or their GS, they might use this strategy of going backwards, ma'am, rather than moving forward. Because when you move forward, you have full steam.
Right.
You put all your energy in one GS or in one paper, which is not right. Because at the end, even if you're getting a very good score, ma'am, it won't help you qualify if you are not getting a decent score in other papers.
Right.
So that is my suggestion.
So going backwards actually was your mantra to come forward in this field. Nice. Okay, coming to one of the most important areas, like you said, that essay and ethics are two key areas where you have to actually put your best foot forward to get a great rank in this exam. So what was your general strategy for ethics, and what was your score last year? Now, right now as we speak, we do not have the mark sheets, but what were some improvement areas that you worked on for your ethics?
Right, ma'am. So even in this paper, I broke down the normal answers and the case studies. So in case studies, overall in the 2023 attempt, my score was 124, which I believe was generously rewarded, considering the content I have written in my exam. So they were very generous. So this year I thought I'll maintain this. It won't go down. And how can I enrich it? So to increase the marks are not out yet, but I'm hopeful it will be more than that. So to enrich them, I brought diversity in the answers. I brought diversity in my case studies, and I started writing unique content, something that is not very repetitive. And that's where you also helped me, ma'am, in revising the content that I had, in refining it. Moreover, I also did work on the concising of the notes. So I can't have a 50-page, 70-page notes going writing the last examination on a Sunday, ma'am, wherein you are
The
actually
conditions,
tired.
yes, the conditions in
it
which
takes
you
a toll,
write.
ma'am. It actually takes a toll. And even after writing GS3, it is a very mind-boggling exam. So once you come out, you have to take 15 minutes to settle down. Ki, okay, whatever I've done, it's in the past. Now
Yes.
focus on this.
Yes.
So all those things considering, I prepared the notes very concisely. I still have those 20-25 pages wherein I've written all the frameworks, different 6 frameworks for 6 different case studies. I've written keywords, ethical dilemmas, ethical issues separately for each case study. Even on topics such as women, corporate, environmental ethics, AI in ethics, administrative ethics. So I made separate notes on all of them. Then I also enriched the content by writing something that is not explicitly asked. So that helped me fill space as well as write more content. So for example,
generating some extra dimensions.
Yes. So that added a unique dimension to my answers. Moreover, this in the last 2025 ethics paper, they gave us extra page in on I believe the 3rd or 4th case study.
Yes.
Also, there was a question wherein the 3 questions were actually repetitive.
Yes, civil servant related questions.
So I have to write the same thing 3 times. So, but therein the preparation helped, ma'am. I was able to recall so many different ethical dilemmas, issues, and all those things. So it helped me even bring diversity in the same answer.
Yes.
So I believe that helped. It also saves time, ma'am. I was able to complete my paper in both the attempts. That helped me. Also, when you are completing your paper, it gives you a confidence that okay, even if you have to rush forward in the last 5 minutes, you'll be able to complete the paper.
Yes.
So that helped me, ma'am.
Okay. Dealing with specific areas of ethics, the code-based questions is one area that I've seen has troubled the aspirants the most. So what was your approach in bringing uniqueness in your code-based questions, specifically when they ask you what does this code mean to you in the current context? How did you dedicate some space there, and how did you decide what is to be done in this area?
Yes, ma'am. So I'd again like to thank you, ma'am, for guiding me in this direction. The code-based questions were very repetitive in my last attempt. So this year I decided that I won't write 3 answers same, not even in the same framework, not even in the same format. So bringing diversity, as in, say it's a philosophical quote, or it's a moral value quote, or some administrative quote sort of thing. So you have to bring in different frameworks. One, you can write point-wise format. One, you can write a philosophical explanation by adding recent examples, obviously.
Right.
And the aspect of what does it mean to you.
Right.
Now, this can mean different things. You as a person, you as a part of a family, as a society, as a nation, or as an aspiring civil servant. So even if you explore these 3 dimensions, out of these 6 dimensions, if you explore 3 and you give a nice example to it, I think that fills up space and provides a unique dimension to it.
Definitely.
So rather than going after that, this quote means this in the context of World War III or whatever it is going on in the world right now, or in the case of daily conflicts, it's better to bring in the angles of artificial intelligence,
yes.
Bring in the angle of social justice, the upliftment of women.
Yes.
So these angles can be brought in. These
contemporary issues like say IR ethics or say social media related whatever is going on.
Corporate ethics, environmental ethics, the things that you are studying for your case studies, these can be used here also, ma'am.
Plus it shows that you're actually thinking with respect to this paper and you're not copy pasting some examples that have been going on. I call them the veteran examples. Like agar integrity की बात आई है तो अशोक खेमका सर को परेशान करना ही है हमें.
Right. You don't have to necessarily do that, ma'am.
Yes.
Even if you quote a personal example in the case of integrity, ma'am,
yes.
I think that means that you are that person, and it also shows some uniqueness in the answer.
There's a directive given before the ethics syllabus starts. There's a directive that this paper wants to check the aspirants' integrity. And everyone gets surprised whenever I show them this in class. But it is actually wanting to check how you think. What is your thought process in this question? So the more personalized I think we go, the better it gets in the paper.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
So that is there. What was your approach in case studies, and how did you differentiate? Say, case studies is one area that I feel gets very monotonous if you don't try to differentiate actively in all of these areas. So what were your strategy for differentiating your case studies and get marks there?
Again, ma'am, bringing diversity in all the case studies. So I made a point. I have been preparing for this in 2024 attempt also, 25 attempt also. So I had a repository of a good amount of ethical dilemmas, issues, examples. I also tried to differentiate case studies this time in all aspects. So for example, even in the introduction, I'll bring diversity. So say in one example, in one introduction, I'll write about the recent happenings which inspired the case study. In another, I'll write about the philosophy behind the case study. In the third, I'll highlight the values that the case study is highlighting. So even if you do it in 2 case studies, you don't have to do it consecutively. You do it in the first and the fourth, fifth,
Yes.
and the second. So that brings diversity. Then even if the stakeholders are not explicitly asked, I suggest that you should write them.
Yes.
And even while writing stakeholders, you don't have to do this I, officer, administration, family. Bring in more a perspective.
Yes.
Core, periphery stakeholders. Then you write the stakeholder and their stake involved.
Their
So-
stakes or their interest involved.
Yes. That brings diversity. Then exploring the ethical dilemmas. It doesn't always have to be transparency versus these
Yes.
whatever it is, the secrecy and all that. So you have to bring in new dimensions wherein personal conflict is involved. The conflict in the official position is involved. What does that conflict mean for the society? There it is involved. Then it also sets a precedent for the future. So that is also an ethical dilemma.
Yes.
So these angles can be explored, and I believe writing a good conclusion also matters, ma'am.
Yes.
So you should give decent space and respect to the conclusion before case study, because it actually highlights what you have understood from the case
From the
study.
question, yes, right. Something very interesting and intriguing actually that students can look up to. Okay, so this has been very enriching, but lastly, before we close, I would want to ask, what has been that one personality or character trait that you think that you've picked up from this journey and would carry forward throughout your life?
Ma'am, I'd rather say that not picking up, but realizing that I had that trait in myself. So maintaining a low profile is something that I have learned, and I'm trying to work on it, because as a bureaucrat, as a civil servant, you are supposed to be anonymous. It's written in the very prospectus of the serviceman. So I suggest that not running after material fame or the recognition. It's better if you do your work silently, with integrity, and with outcomes. So if you are making an impact, your work will get noticed rather than you get noticed.
Brilliant.
So I believe I'll try to hold on to that, ma'am.
So you've learned Nishkam Karma.
Definitely, ma'am. It helped me.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for connecting with
Thank
us
you, ma'am.
today, Vishwajeet. It has been a truly pleasing and insightful session. I wish you all the best, and congratulations once again for not the rank but the resilience that you've put behind it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.